What's going on YouTube? It's Eli with Common Sense, and today I am very excited because it is another Middle Eastern fragrance haul video. The Middle Eastern fragrance game has been killing it lately because you get such a great bang for your buck when you're paying for these fragrances. A lot of them just smell really expensive and really give some of the niche fragrances a run for their money. Got my big old box of fragrances and we are going to check them out today. So stay tuned. So first up on this list is a fragrance from Fragrance World, and we are talking about Fragrance World's Imperium. Look at that really interesting box. It also has kind of a nice textured look on the outside. Check out this bottle and this cap. If you can't tell, this is definitely a clone of Roja's Elysium. It's kind of funny that they chose to clone the parfum caps because those are the ones with the 6 kind of jewels at the top, and the original Parfum Cologne version does not have it, so I thought that was kind of funny. Ooh, nice atomizer. Oh yeah, that's definitely giving that same kind of vibe. Man, that smells ultra fresh and very similar to the original one. Side note, I have tried all of these on skin beforehand, so I do know what they smell like because I know it does smell a little bit different on the tester versus the skin. So don't worry, I got you covered. So this one, you have notes of grapefruit, bergamot, thyme, lemon, galbanum, lime, and wormwood in the top, with middle notes of lily of the valley, rose, vetiver, pink pepper, cypriol, juniper, black currant, jasmine, cedar, and apple. That's a lot. With a base of vanilla, incense, leather, benzoin, and amber. So definitely a lot of notes. I think they tried to clone as many of them as possible from the original Roja Elysium. Slightly green and grassy up top, but mostly kind of bright and just a sweet kind of orange vibe. So definitely on skin, you get a lot more of that kind of mandarin orange kind of vibe, but also it's really refreshing from the lemon and the lime. It's very close, but it's still slightly off. I think it's missing a little bit of that creamy and kind of wheat-like vetiver up top. So I have the dry down here as well. Okay, on the dry down, it definitely smells quite different. It starts to smell a little bit more like the original. The citruses kind of dry down and you get a little bit more of that kind of iconic vetiver and grapefruit vibe. Definitely really close in the bottom, but honestly, it smells really similar throughout with just some subtle kind of small differences. This one definitely lasts around 7 to 8 hours on my skin, pretty strong, and then it sits a little bit closer. So definitely really good performance off of this one. Really good bang for your buck. And that one is Fragrance World's Imperium. Next up, we have a fragrance from Maison Alhambra, and I am talking about Maison Alhambra's Kismet Angel. This is definitely an interpretation, a clone, if you will, of By Kilian's Angel Share. That one, it's a wonderful, boozy, warm, kind of spicy goodness that everyone has been inspired by lately. And I do have another one that I got that I picked up in my last fragrance kind of haul. This one's Lattafa's Camera, but for some reason, the original Camera is just, it's got a weird kind of coconut note that definitely comes off a little bit cloying to me, and it didn't quite sit right on my skin. For that reason, I wanted to try a different clone. Definitely really similar to the Kilian box. I mean, it's almost identical. You just got to give it to the Maison Alhambra team for making these presentations look as well as they do. And then the bottle also shares that iconic kind of cylindrical whiskey glass look. I'm kind of glad that they went for a slightly different bottle look. You know, they didn't go for that etched look. I think this one kind of stands out a little bit. Man, great atomizer. Now that is what I'm talking about. This one, you've got top notes of amber, honeycomb, and vanilla with middle notes of cognac, tonka bean, caramel, and cinnamon, also with a base of chocolate. So definitely on the top, this smells so much better than Lattafa's Camera. So much more well-rounded. It has that sweet booziness, but it's not quite as synthetic as Camera. It lasts definitely well over 12 hours, and it definitely projects. It's very strong for 5 to 6 hours. So this one is definitely well worth the money. This one reminds me a lot of fall because it shares that nice, really sexy, dark kind of tobacco, the cinnamon spice, and it just smells nice and boozy and strong. It kind of reminds me a little bit of tobacco and like a mulled cider. And honestly, it smells like fall in a bottle. This also kind of reminds me a little bit of Parfums de Marly's Herod. It shares that kind of dark, spicy kind of tobacco and cinnamon. This one's kind of cool because it has a little bit of that glazed kind of honey look, and it's a little bit more boozy. This is definitely a lot closer to the Angel Share that I remember. Shout out to my cousin Stanley for letting me try that one out. Just nice gourmand and smells kind of like a cinnamon baked good. Really, really good stuff here. And that one is Maison Alhambra's Kismet Angel. So next up is one that I have been very excited to try, and this one is called Amberley Ombre Blue. So definitely the more expensive Maison Alhambra fragrances step up their packaging. You have a really nice kind of fake leather box that this comes in. Look at how royal and expensive this looks. My God. Very nice kind of plush velvet. You have that nice kind of silk lining down here that the fragrance just kind of lays in. Definitely a cool bottle. It's got that kind of matte blue look up here. This one has woody, rose, patchouli, leather, and warm spice accords. So this one is inspired by Guerlain's Patchouli Ardent, and that one has notes of fig, black pepper, pink pepper, with middle notes of rose, patchouli, cedar, and a base of leather and musk. So that's kind of the same vibe that they're going for with this one. Nice kind of spread, and let's check it out. So immediately up top, I get a blast of patchouli, as well as some really nice kind of classy, mature, even almost like 70s and 80s kind of vibe from this. So definitely one of the most high quality smelling out of all of these. It smells like a really expensive kind of niche vibe. Yeah, just a really strong kind of leather, but really nice kind of earthy patchouli and a nice delicate warm rose. It kind of reminds me of the patchouli of the Underworld by Electimus. Kind of dark, mature, kind of somber smelling patchouli. Yeah, this one's just kind of timeless and just mature. Like I can imagine somebody in their 30s, 40s wearing this one. Maybe if you're a young adult wanting to kind of step up, be a little bit more classy and dress up, this one would definitely check those boxes. And on the dry down on this one, it definitely calms down. You still get that nice kind of rose and patchouli. You also get a couple of other just nice floral notes as well. It's a little bit smoky. That one is a masterpiece right here. I think this is my favorite. In fact, I actually wore this for 2 days. This is my second day wearing this as my fragrance of the day. So this one is definitely gonna get some wearing. This one is a beast. I've sprayed this on my clothes and well over 24 hours, I can still smell them. And I even sprayed some on skin and I smelled it over a day later. So this stuff is no joke, very potent, and it projects like crazy. So probably 1 to 2 sprays is all you need for this one, and this is gonna last you a really long time. And I think it's gonna be really classy for some of these more kind of dressed up occasions. And so that one is Maison Alhambra's Amberley Ombre Blue. So next up is another fragrance from Fragrance World. This one is Barakkat Satin Oud. So this one, if you can't tell, is a clone of Maison Francis Kurkdijan's Oud Satin Mood. Yep, that's definitely an Oud Satin Mood clone. That emblem on the front looks absolutely fantastic, and this looks really, really nice on the shelf. And here it is compared to the Grand Soir clone Ambra Eve. This one is actually 100 ml. The original Maison Francis Kurkdijan fragrances are slightly smaller, so these stick out a little bit. They're a little bit larger than the authentic Maison Francis Kurkdijan fragrances. This one's got top notes of pear and bergamot with middle notes of jasmine, tuberose, and ylang-ylang, and a base of Turkish rose, Bulgarian rose, vanilla, agarwood, benzoin, and violet. So let's go ahead and test this one out on the strip. Nice atomizer. Gonna give us a little time to kind of mature. Not real crazy about this opening. There's something really kind of synthetic, real metallic, kind of fruity. This one's not that pleasing at top. I think it might be coming from that pear and the ylang-ylang, something kind of floral and metallic up top that I am not the biggest fan of. So after about 10 to 20 minutes, that kind of sickening metallic fruity vibe up top, that kind of goes away and it becomes a lot more well blended. Give it a few minutes, don't smell it right away. So as it settles down, you get a really nice kind of deep, slightly smoky oud that's ultra mature and classy here. The benzoin and the vanilla give off that sort of resinous and sweet kind of vanillic vibe, but honestly, as it matures, it becomes far smoother, and the vanilla and the beautiful rose and smoky oud just kind of pop out, and it smells a lot more refined. Something about this one kind of reminds me of when I visit family around the holidays. Really, really nice. Kind of like a mature, expensive, bougie candle. It just smells really, really pleasing, and I think it's one of my favorites out of all of these so far. Definitely is a little bit more smoky, kind of oudy as it dries down, but as you give it time, it just matures and it smells even better. Projection and longevity on this one is fantastic. This one lasts well over 12 hours, and I still smelled it on my skin when I woke up after I sprayed this like in the afternoon of the previous day, and I smelled it well into the morning. And so that one is Fragrance World's Barakkat Satin Oud. So good. Next up on the list, we are looking at Lattafa's Maharjan Silver. So Maharjan actually comes from the Sanskrit origin, and it roughly translates to superior ones, or something along the lines of people with great material possessions and goods. I think this is probably the greatest box I have ever seen out of a Middle Eastern fragrance. It's super gothic and Middle Eastern looking. Like with a lot of the Lattafa Pride fragrances, you get this kind of cool booklet that shows off all of the different types of Lattafa fragrances that they offer. The fragrance bottle itself lies in this really interesting velvety lining, and it's definitely got some protection in there. Look at how cool this bottle looks. It's super unique. So Maharjan Silver has top notes of bergamot and mandarin with middle notes of iris and jasmine, and a base of birch, vetiver, and musk. Nice atomizer. Very green, citrusy, and fresh. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Azzaro Chrome Sport. Kind of that kind of green, grassy citrus up top. That smells good. So this one is definitely far more suited for the spring and the summertime. This one is just ultra fresh and kind of musky at the same time. Up top, you get a really nice kind of refreshing bergamot and musk with a nice kind of woody birch as well. And this is just kind of my style of fragrance that I like. There's also a really unique kind of creamy grapefruit accord up top. It really isn't listed, but that's kind of what I get out of this one. It reminds me of that kind of grapefruit, fresh, kind of strong citrus vibe. And as it kind of dries down, you also get a really unique kind of creamy, grassy vetiver as well. It smells really natural, and it smells just really pleasing. So you also get that kind of aquatic floral as well. I'd say that this one's probably one of the most office-friendly fragrances on this list. This one is very similar to Cartier's Declaration. Just the iris and the mandarin combination here is top notch, and it's just really fresh and musky. But this one had decent performance. This one lasts around 7 to 8 hours, and you can probably get a lot longer if you spray a lot more. That's about what I got. If anything lasts, you know, over 8 hours, that is a plus in my book. This one's really, really unique, and that one is Lattafa's Maharjan Silver. Next up, we have another Maison Alhambra fragrance, and this one is Maison Alhambra's Zaffiro Regale. So I am a huge fan of the Zaffiro collection. I think their crafted oud smells absolutely fantastic. It smells very similar to Tamin's carved oud. Supposedly it's inspired by Tamin's Regent leather. I don't think I've smelled that one before, but I'm really excited to try this one out. Again, this one shares that really, really impressive kind of textured look on the outside of the box. And as you pull out this little part, you get what looks like a book. And as you open it up, you are left with this absolutely beautiful presentation. Just look at how amazing that looks. This one shares that really deep blue bottle that the other Tamin fragrances use, and it has this really nice kind of natural wood cap on the top that feels really nice in the hand. I'm gonna try this one on skin. So look at how oily that is. This is definitely going to be a beast. So Zaffiro's Regale has top notes of lemon and saffron, middle notes of jasmine, cardamom, and rose, and a base of patchouli, white cedar, vanilla, and musk. This one is ultimately a creamy, nutty cardamom. That's immediately what I get off the top. This is a really interesting combination. It's perfect for a cool, overcast day. And actually, up top, it smells kind of animalistic, very musky, but that patchouli and the saffron smells really interesting, and especially paired with the cardamom. It smells kind of like an animalistic chai tea. It smells really, really cool. And the patchouli smells like a wet, kind of dark and earthy vibe as well. I feel my brain is like turning when I'm just kind of smelling this. It has that nice gourmand wheat-like vibe from this one. That one's really nice. So I also tried this one yesterday and I gave it a full wearing on my hand, and I think I'm liking it actually a little bit more today. Something in it is just really taking off a lot of those boxes when it comes to my fragrance taste. I really enjoy this one. Yeah, that jasmine and the vanilla gives it a really nice creamy kind of vanilla-like vibe. The florals are really well blended here and honestly are just really incredible and reminds me sort of like a tea shop. It's also a little bit soapy as well as it kind of dries down, coming from the white florals and the kind of spicy saffron. Overall, this one also shares that 10-hour kind of range and it lasts a really long time and projects pretty well. Really good stuff from this house. That one is Maison Alhambra's Zaffiro Regale. That is like signature scent worthy right there. That is just so good, man. Last but not least, we have a fragrance from the house of Ard Al Zafran. This one is Shams Al Emarat Khususi. On a scale of 1 to 10, how close did I get to that pronunciation? Really trying. So along the top, you have this kind of textured gold foil look as well. Whoa, this also comes with a free deodorant perfume spray. Honestly, I might just keep this in my car. Little freebie in there. You have a deep, gorgeous, kind of royal ruby red that looks absolutely fantastic. And when I first checked this one out, I thought this was going to be a little bit more of a unisex fragrance, and I kind of think that this is a little bit more feminine leaning, so we'll check it out. So Shams Al Emarat Khususi has top notes of vanilla, apple, and mandarin with middle notes of rose, vanilla, spices, amber, ylang ylang, and a base of musk, agarwood, sandalwood, and patchouli. So let's give this one a test. This just took me back somewhere and I don't know where it is. This just gave me goosebumps. Man, something about this is just really nostalgic to me. It reminds me of my childhood. Wow. This is honestly how I want my future wife to smell. So ladies, if you wear this around me, I might just have to wife you up. All kidding aside, this reminds me of just a really soft, innocent lady. Immediately what came to mind is actually a scripture from the book of Proverbs. So actually Proverbs 31 verses 25 through 31. It reads, "Strength and dignity are her clothing, and she laughs at the time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. She looks well to the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. She looks well to the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. Many women have done excellently, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Give her the fruit of her hands, and let her works praise her in the gates." So something in this kind of reminded me deep in my roots, in my faith, of the Proverbs 31 woman. Just a beautiful, faithful woman who is just powerful and just soft and innocent. Long story short, I get a lot of sweet, beautiful oriental florals in this one. I get a really strong jasmine and honey vibe, probably from the ylang ylang. Something very kind of soapy and just really nice and just feminine smelling. I get a lot of fruits and woods also on this one, but with a nice healthy dose of a really nice kind of attractive rose, vanilla, and spices. I still have a little bit left over on my skin for the dry down. It just loses a little bit of that intensity from the sweetness, but it remains a soft, sweet, and kind of delicate smell. Something that's just transcendent. Kind of reminds me of an oriental cherry blossom. I grew up with lots of those cherry blossom trees around me, and so it kind of reminds me of that spring, summertime when those are in full bloom. This one's often compared to Killer Queen by Katy Perry and also Dolce & Gabbana, The Only One 2. I think I also read online somewhere that it reminded some people of Terry Muglier's Angel for women. I think anybody can wear this one. I probably will wear this just because it's so comforting to me. I have smelled somebody who smells like this. It has to have been like a shampoo or a body wash or lotion that somebody has worn at some point in my life. Somebody important to me has worn this, and it's bothering me that I don't know what it is, but that's okay. It's funny how memory is. Ultra sweet, super oriental, and just really pleasing on this one. This one is definitely the most soft and innocent smelling one out of all of these, and so if you are into that vibe, I'd say definitely give this one a shot. And that one is Ard Al Zafran's Shams Al Emarat Khususi. So that does it for today's video. Thank you so much, guys and gals, for joining me. I really appreciate you guys leaving comments and just talking about fragrances. So if you are new to the channel, I'd like to give you a shout out and welcome you to the channel. I post a lot of fragrance related content, and from time to time I do these little fragrance hauls. It's just something that I really enjoy doing, and just talking and sharing about fragrances. If you like the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing. And if you want to have some of the best fragrance content, hit that notification icon so you can get my videos directly on your feed. Thank you so much. I have been Eli with Common Sense, and until the next time, bye-bye. This one is Shams al Emarat. I'm talking about Shams al Khususi.